The rest of Europe, still fumbling through every transfer target, Arsenal moved extremely quickly. 6 combinations, 40 million euros, and not yet stopped from Juventus Madrid, Madueke, until Joaquin Pitt. Gunners don't just buy people, they're rebuilding ambition from the ground up. And now, if the next name is really Rodrygo Goes for about 90 million euros, as many sources have confirmed, Arsenal have nothing to hide. This is a campaign to clear the way for the championship. No more, no less. How they make quick decisions. No noise is a statement. We're old enough to smash the negotiating table with any AI. Summer transfer 2002-05 are witnessing an Arsenal decisive and strong hand in the market. Up to the present time, Gunners have completed 6 new contracts. It's worth hundreds of millions of euros. Prepare for an ambitious season. The first contract was Martin Zubimendi from Real Madrid for a fee of 70 million euros. This is a quality addition to the Arsenal midfield after the death of George and Thomas Partey. Next is Ronaldo, also joined for 6 million euros. Bringing experience and certainty to the middle line, Madueke also joined from Chelsea for 55 million euros. It promises to bring new life. On the right side of the hallway, Arsenal have brought in 2 potential names. Christian Mosquera joins for 20 million euros. It has not been officially announced by the club, but this deal is done in terms of the deal. Mosquito.net, it has been in London since mid-July and has passed medical examination. You are not currently on the trip, Asian competition, and is expected to be announced. After the team returned, in the position of goalkeeper, Arsenal have signed Kepa for the price of 8 million euros. Chelsea to compete with David Raya. The most important thing this summer is Arsenal close to signing Viktor Gyökeres, the Sporting, with a total fee of 73.5 million euros, surcharge included. The Swedish striker has agreed to personal terms and passed the medical examination. We are just waiting for the official announcement. Gyökeres is expected to make the missing collage on the public after season 2002, April 2nd, 0-5, that Arsenal lack a real 9. The next name, most likely, Rodrygo Goes of Real Madrid. According to reputable sources, Arsenal are in direct talks with the club. The fee mentioned is about 90 million euros. This is no longer an expectation or a rumor. It's factual information that's been confirmed from multiple sources. To prove, Arsenal are very serious about upgrading. If the Rodrygo deal is done, Arsenal will have a very strong attacking system, a combination of technical speed and diverse finishing capabilities. With a clear transfer policy and the definitive steps, Arsenal are showing they are ready to get back into the race. Premier League title, go deep in the Champions League. Season 2002-05-2000-06, he scored 43 goals in the 2002 season. 2000 to be a Arsenal defenders now. It's one of the best defense systems in Europe. Last season they scored 24 goals, keep clean sheets for 18 games, an achievement that every coach has to dream. But for Mikel Arteta, it wasn't enough. Move into the season 2005-2000-06, he's continuing to reinforce the bottom line with new people, younger, more versatile and suitable for football-controlled things. Day 1, Mosquera, Calafiori, 2 Timber, or Lewis Golly. Arteta is not just building a solid defense, you're building an ecosystem, time-modern defense, where each link is capable of turning the game around. Arsenal have scored 43 goals in the Premier League, season 2002-2002 BA. The next 2 years had that number reduced to 29 and 24. It's the remarkable progress of the defense, is the crystallization of the ball rate of transformation, the ability to control the midline, and above all, before defenders know how to read the game better than their opponents. A season beat 2002-5-20-0-26. Mikel Arteta is going to fill it with new layers of brick. Young people have great potential and understand their role. The starting point is 21-year-old Christian Mos, 1 meter tall, 89 strong, undisputed, and ideally fit to pair it with either Saliba or Gabriel. Arsenal to bring Mosquera back from Valencia to prepare for a long journey, the same way they used to be patient with the appearance of Mos helped the line between the defense has more rotation options. When Saliba needs a break, when Gabriel fell into overdrive, Arsenal no longer have to pull White or Kiwior in positions outside the field. In the left hallway, Calafiori is an exquisite foundation brick, though have come from summer 2002-04. But now is the time for Calafiori, hope to shine stronger. Used as a central defender, left deviations at Borussia and team Calafiori's left back is no stranger. You have a vision, long passing ability, and good none in the battle that Arteta demands. Flank backs rise and narrow the middle space. Calafiori is the type of player who can both support the attack, just defending. Switch state, Jurrien Timber's recovery from a CL injury. It's like a new contract. Tim is a player who can play both sides, not afraid of the lead and often prove dangerous in the ascending phase. In schemes for BABA or for 2BA1, Timber can be the one who bundles in, as invert fullback or expand borders depending on how Arteta is organized. This allows Arsenal to switch diagrams flexibly between defensive and counter-offensive phases. The Saliba and Gabriel are still the defending heart. They're the reason Arsenal just conceded averaged 0.89 goals per game. Last season kept 18 clean sheets, more than any other Premier League team. They also made Arsenal to be the team with the expected goal index, faced the lowest of Europe's top 5 leagues, 28.4 in the whole season. That's less than 0.75 goals per game. Ben White remains the #1 right back, thanks in part to stability. Part because White is able to support the upline. Extremely smart. In the Arsenal match, they pressed the opponent. White usually rises to create 3 senses, in collaboration with Ødegaard and the winger. Open up the hallway. Let the left wing or #9 drift down the harness. When White needs to rest, the Timber can drift. It helps to turn the Arsenal become efficient and unpredictable. A plus point. What cannot be overlooked is the great maturity of the nation. Kylian Mbappe is not a Rick, but every time I get in the yard, Kylian Mbappe showed up calm and excellent space handling ability. Talented young Miles Gallagher is a source of curiosity, 18 years old, but scored in his jersey in qualifying. World Cup. Miles Gallagher is not just the property of the academy, it's also an interesting test. In the role of left back or deep back midfielder, if used reasonably, this will be a big step for Arsenal in the rotation of forces without loss of stability. Last season, Arsenal were the team with the most shots on target face each low match. The Premier League only 1.8 times. It shows that their defense is a control system and prevent from the root. According to Adrian Clark, Arsenal's greatest strength lies in the way it organizes science, constricting the space and coordinating between the glands. In season 2002-05-2000-06, Michael Phelps expected defense will continue to maintain stability and go even further. For 3 seasons in a row, at key moments, people often talk about lack of skill or defense, lack of coldness, but deeper. That's because the Arsenal middle line has never really been solid. It's different now than the appearance of Martin Zubimendi, who controls space like a speedometer. Arsenal have reason to believe they've got the strongest mid-court beat since the height of the. When Zubimendi goes out deep backwards, Deacon coordinator, Right Comfort, Soaring and Ødegaard are freely creative. These 3 senses can become a launchpad for a great campaign. The only problem is, this has to be the optimal structure, and they're able to sustain 60 games of intensity, like that or not. If there is a point that Arsenal are the most obsessed in 3 consecutive seasons, so that's the feeling of being lost in the middle. At important times, they used to have good roadblocks, real leaders, but I've never had a perfect middle axis. The appearance of Martin Juventus in the summer 2005, it could be the final piece, turning the Gunners' midline into a crushing tool. Every confrontational system. Here's the stats in La Liga season 2002, April 2005 of Juventus. Arsenal just owned one of the smart quarterbacks, the most stable and classy in Europe today. In La Liga, season 2002, 4-2-0-0-0-2-5, Zubimendi is 4th among the central midfielder in terms of number of passes, successful passing, in number of touches, even though Real Sociedad only controls the ball, an average of 54%. The biggest difference of Mendy Zubi compared to the cylindrical midfielder, the classic, is the ability to play with depth. With 238 passes breaking the pressing route, you don't play it safe. They're willing to take risks to get the ball forward. That's what Arsenal lacks in the stalemate games last season, where they need someone to unlock the game. Instead of passing, harmless U-shape, the presence of Zubimendi, it also opens up a clear tactical order. I'm going to play at the bottom of the middle triangle, take on the role of regulating play and controlling the ball, while Deck and Dry can rise higher, develop the ability to sweep, pressing the ice up from line to. Martin Ødegaard will be the lead creator, be freed from the responsibility of supporting the defense that I had to carry so much last season. This is a reasonable assignment, balanced and extremely modern. It reflects the philosophy of Michael Arteta, set by Zubimendi. Rice Ødegaard is not only strong for name, but also because of compatibility. Both are 26 years old. He's at the most productive stage of his career. They combine the power, extremely refined tactical thinking and position. Ødegaard was dragged deeper into the 2-year BA scheme last season due to the lack of a trust behind, leads to performance that creates a chance of a marked decline. Now you'll have room to run between the lines. What makes Juventus so desirable also comes from durability. He has played more than 89% of La Liga games in the last 5 seasons, have always played over 30 games per season since 2020-2000 with a fierce campaign like Premier League and Champions League. This is the type of player every coach dreams of. Arsenal have another addition. Is that Cristiano Ronaldo plays a backup role. It's a testament to squad depth. In the context of Thomas Partey and Jorginho gone, Arteta is restoring order, and Martin Ju. It represents that, when Raheem was allowed to ice up like he recruited you, when Ødegaard is closer to the goal, when every beat is led by Ju. Arsenal's midfield is no longer a weakness, it's a springboard for winning. It's a revolution that's going to define the whole season. For 2 consecutive seasons, Arsenal just lack one thing to throw away, a true center. It's not a smart, Kepa-style striker, not even temporary solutions like Jesus or Trossard. They need a record machine, someone who's able to pull the whole system forward at speed, strength and toughness in the penalty area. And then Viktor Gyökeres showed up, 97 goals in 102 games at Sporting, the same rate of metabolism, opportunity comparable to the peak season. Gyökeres is not just an expensive signature, it's a statement. Arsenal are ready to play big. But are you the solution that Arteta has been waiting for? Or will be another gamble in the search? Perfect middle wind. It's hard to say. Arsenal were enough to win if their center is still a Harvard's or virtual striker, Nicky Marino. But now they've got Viktor Gyökeres, A machine that breaks all boundaries, the striker makes the opponent breathe in time. Let's not say the defense organization. After more than a year of searching for a series of names, Arsenal finally lock in goal, and more importantly, here's a contract that was brought in to change the way the gunner attack. Arsenal's biggest weakness last season was not. It's about the ability to specify an advantage. They shoot a lot but lack a true center. Havertz tried his best. He only scored 9 goals in the Premier League. In 23 main stones, that's too low a number for a team to aim for a championship. And so Viktor Gyökeres showed up. He scored 97 goals in 102 games for Sporting. Same shot, 2-goal conversion rate of 28.4%. It is almost equivalent to Erling Haaland, Man City's 6th prize. Gyökeres especially loves to operate on the left. This could help Arsenal rebalance the system. It's completely off to the right, with Saka, Ødegaard, and Manuel. Last season, only 32.9% of Arsenal's attacking touches. It's in the left third of the field, lowest prize, but now when Jorginho pulls the ball to the edge, use force to pull the defender, and then cross or finish. The gunner will have a much more dangerous left axis. What's remarkable is the presence of Gyökeres does not obscure the role of other attack vectors. On the contrary, it opens up a clear order. Let's help people play right. On the right, Bukayo Saka remains an irreplaceable staple. When the Swedish rookie sucks the center back or pull the ball out on the left, Saka will have more space to deal with little participation in defense, focus on the finish, and make a spike in the bottom third of the pitch. On the other wing, the competition will be fierce between Gabi, Leandro Trossard, and possibly Noni Matt. He just joined from Chelsea. Everyone has a different style. Martinelli sped up and finished early. Rosa is more about coordination and rhythm, and Madueke is sharp in the finishing touches. They choose one, but what they all have in common is they can cut into the middle, let Jorginho come in from behind. It's hard to get the cards inside out. In the middle, as I said, Gyökeres is the #1 choice. Havertz will still be an important spin option. In high-pressing matches, or when an opponent plays with a rising defense, Havertz with the ability to always switch the ball and select the delicate location will still be used. Another system can be Mikel Arteta. It's important to remember to use 2 different strikers. In pressing, Jorginho Wijnaldum in the highest, Ødegaard or Kai Havertz play a little lower, but always ready to ice up as a virtual striker. This structure just made sure Arsenal have people in the box, keep constant pressure on the enemy's center line. Now with Jorginho in the middle, Arsenal will have an attack with all the speed factors, breakthrough power, the ability to run, pressing and switching state. A year ago, the appearance of David Raya used to paper on a lot of skepticism. Are you really more than Ramsdale? Is there enough courage to catch the main for a championship racing team? But now the answer is clear. 18 clean sheets after 38 Premier League rounds, and the pass rate is close to 8 to 6%. RE is not just a reliable blocker, it's also an important link. In Arteta's build-up system new season, Arsenal continued to strengthen this position by bringing back Kepa, who used to hold the 6th century transfer goalkeeper. In addition, there are 2 young talent apprentices to create a rational goalkeeper ecosystem. Top of the tournament, in the middle of a fierce race, it's important to be stable from the deepest position. Arsenal are doing very well. David Raya, it's not as controversial a choice as it was when you first arrived. Emirates after 1 season made 38 Premier League appearances, cleaned the net 18 times, 34 goals, and achieved an accurate passing rate of 85.7%. Raya is now an irreplaceable pillar of Arsenal, in every idea deployed from the bottom line, especially in the Champions League, where Arsenal expect to go further. The role of the goalkeeper controlling the ball with his feet is more important, and Raya is the kind of person who can meet that requirement. I know how. Open up deep deployment lines right from the box, like you did against Manchester City in February, with 2 saves, 10 shit, and a string of counter-pacing passes. Pressing the enemy at the addition of Kepa, it's a step that's highly appreciated by experts. In terms of depth and experience, Arsenal, it only takes about £5 million to bring in a goalkeeper. It was the most expensive 6th century in the world. Kepa will bring healthy competition to Royal and make sure the team doesn't miss the cup competitions, FA Cup or EFL Cup. Speech on launch day, Kepa says he chose Arsenal for her ambition to champion in her belief in the Arteta philosophy. You are ready whenever the team needs you. Behind them are 2 19-year-old goalkeepers, Tommy Cesford and Alex Rojas. Pedro Rosset, both were coached by goalkeeper Inaki Kanan. High appreciation of development potential. Cesford may be the one to appear in friendly matches or some intra-regional group stage games, and Rojas, they will likely continue to train in the academy. In the context of Arsenal, Woodframe is very stable. This is an important accumulation phase. Let them rather than Chan into the first team. Overall, Arsenal entered the season 2005-2000-26 with a reasonable keeper structure, a key role that can't be replaced, a quality backup, and 2 of their long-term potential names. Aim for a minimum of 18 games, keep a clean sheet in the Premier League, reduce the number of personal errors that lead to the lowest number of goals, and improve foot play performance in stressful matches. That's the foundation that helps. Arteta, assured to organize both defense and pressing system, a vital element to the title competition on all 3 major fronts. If a year ago, every time the Arteta rotates, Arsenal fans have to pray, this season that feeling is gone. The Arsenal squad is no longer defined by main. It's because the AI sits on the bench and can still change the game. From Gyökeres, Kai Havertz in central, Martinelli Trossard left to Zubimendi, Nørgaard on Omnil or Timber White on the right wing. Every position has two quality names, even young players like Lewis Galley, there is it has also reached the threshold of stone. When you look at the Arsenal squad this season, the first thing that catches your eye is not the AI itself, it's who's willing to sit out. Feels different than a year ago, when Arteta hardly dared to turn the rewind every time the quality goes down. It's obvious, not now. Let's start from the front line center position. Now, there are two obvious choices. Gyökeres and Kai had no more startled and injured, or have to push Trossard and kick the virtual 9. When people run out, on the left is a fair competition between Martinelli and right-wing Trossard. Saka is still number 1. But there's a Madueke ready to take it, at least enough to miss a game against Chelsea. Not to mention, and the craziest is Real's Rodrygo will be brought into focus. Arsenal, I'm working hard to get one of these two names, coming to aim. The middle line is the most crowded. Anchor position has Zubimendi and Nørgaard, a person who coordinates a muscular person. Pair 8, Ødegaard is still the middle boss, but behind you is Emery, Marino and Rice if you need to push. In the middle group, there were 5 to 6 people. AI is also qualified for the Premier League. The defense is even more closed. Defenders must have Timber and White must start. The right center backs are Saliba and Mosquera. On the left are Gabriel and Kiwior. Left back Calafiori and Lewis Gallagher. And Chincheco's almost out of the main trunk group. In wooden frame, Raya 8 main, but Kepa a forward replacement if needed. Look at a position where at least 2 people are willing to kick. No AI is the solution for the urinary mosquito. Lewis Kelly could be young, but if it's thrown in, it doesn't get pinched. The question is whether this depth is sufficient. Compared to the competitors, maybe not with Liverpool, because the Kop still has special individuals. You can decide the match yourself. Why Man City? I would say Arsenal are a little bit better. But with the rest of the Premier League, Arsenal are the team with the most depth. There is no excess star. Every position has a teacher. And sometimes that's enough to survive. Over 60 games of the season, a team that doesn't have too many super assets, but it's got such consistent coverage that it's cold. So the question is, that's enough for Arsenal. To the end in all 3 major arenas, and if this is the first year, they don't collapse because they're tired. That's the story that we're going to spend the whole season on. To witness